Well, this is the most amazing thing, you know, and you're absolutely right. Look, I'm saying Tim Flannery himself, the people who wrote the report, the IPCC report, on which Kevin Rudd himself has publicly said he relies. Those people themselves say the real-world data is disagreeing with the computer modelling that predicted runaway warming. They themselves privately have said, and now Tim Flannery publicly admits, and as you say, quote, Tim Flannery, sure, for the last 10 years we've gone through a slight cooling
period. Yes, that's right.
Hello, cooling
That's what we said. We've gone through a slight cooling trend. The computer modelling, Flannery, and the real-world data disagree. But then you've got these co-authors. These people are the co-authors of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, quote, one to the other. Where the heck is global warming? We're asking that here in Boulder, where we've broken records the past 2 days for the coldest days on record. The fact is we can't account for the lack of warming at the moment, and it's a travesty we can't. These are the authors of Kevin Rudd's Bible.
That bloke is the co-author of two IPCC. There's been 4 progressively ramping up the fear campaign. Here's the report of the last and a previous one. He's not some Johnny-come-lately, some guy in the backwoods, some, you know, weird old scientist somewhere. He is a key author. And the point is this. He says in an email they can't account for the cooling. When publicly he won't admit that. And that's the thing. The truth is being hidden. It's right in the email.
Now, in 2006, the United States House of Representatives Energy and Commerce Committee commissioned, did it not, and you have written about this, eminent statisticians to check one of the IPCC authors, Professor Michael Mann's famous hockey stick. Now, Mann's hockey stick was to demonstrate that, of course, the temperature had gone up and up and up. And they found, that committee did they not, that Mann's work was too flawed to be relied on, and there was now a, quote, clique of 43 climate scientists stifling true debate, and the United States House of Representatives Energy and Commerce Committee named Mann and this Professor Jones and this Keith Briffa, who were co-authors of these IPCC reports.
Well, look, the whole Mann hockey stick, the fiasco, should have been a warning. Michael Mann, as you say, is one of these people involved in this latest thing. He is an IPCC author, and this is the problem. This IPCC report, I repeat, Kevin Rudd says this is what he relies on. Mann was an author of this report. He smuggled in his own hockey stick, which, as you say, claimed falsely that the world's temperatures have been flat for a couple of thousand years and suddenly rising dramatically is caused by us. He snuck it in. It was the hero diagram. You've seen it in Al Gore's In Inconvenient Truth. Al Gore points to it. Yep. It was a fraud. It was peer-reviewed. And this Wegman committee said there's a group of 43 scientists. They peer-review, allegedly, each other's work. They give it all a tick, even when it's dodgy. And it took not a scientist, but a retired mining executive called Steve McIntyre on a blog of all people, is a statistician of genius, but a mining executive to figure out it was a fraud. Went to the U.S. House Committee. They got America's leading statisticians and mathematicians, and they said, look, yes, he's right. This bloke is right. All the scientists are wrong. It's a fraud. You can't rely on it. And it's been, but the whole point
But you got this email from this Professor Phil Jones, who he says, now he's one of the authors of the IPCC reports, I'd like to see the climate change happen so the science could be proved right, regardless of the consequences. I mean, these are not scientists. These are politicians. These people are being political, not scientific.
They have got an evangelical faith. They hate skeptics. In fact, Phil Jones revelled in the death of the Tasmanian skeptic John Daly. His widow is so upset, saying this was good news. Good news. Another one wrote to Phil Jones saying he wants to punch smash Pat Michaels the next time he sees him. Yeah. Pat Michaels is a leading climatologist. I mean,
just before you go, we're going to go to the news. Just want to answer this question for my listeners. This is Andrew Bolt from the Herald Sun in Melbourne, who writes with great clarity and conviction. 7 votes are needed from the Liberal Party in the Senate, and this legislation will be upon us. Is that going to happen?
look, I'm afraid the legislation looks like going through. But, Alan, everyone needs to appeal to our politicians when even Tim Flannery admits that climate's dodgy and not doing what they predicted, when even the authors of the report on which Kevin Rudd relies say it's not doing what was predicted, when they all admit the science is so dodgy, why on earth
are we doing what we're
doing? A tax of so many billions?
Good on you, Andrew. Good to talk to you.